Hello and welcome to Reality Recap, where I recap all of the trashiest reality shows. If you're new here, my name is Heather. I have a degree in psychology, and it's through that lens that I watch these shows and make my comments. Of course, I have not met with any of these people, so everything that I state is simply an opinion. My channel is a little bit of education and a whole lot of snark. This is Season 1, Episode 2. Hello there. My video is going to look a little different this week because I keep getting copyright claims. So I'm going to play audio clips and only show still images unless I'm speaking, and then I'm going to be showing moving images and speaking over them. And hopefully that will clear the copyright issues. It may be less enjoyable to watch, but I think if you just listen to it, it'll have maybe better quality for you. Sorry about that. This is life, and this is a Monday.
I'm looking for maybe things, onesies. I definitely need onesies because she doesn't have a lot of those.
The sister wives go shopping for new clothes for Truly. I can't imagine with 12 children that they need a lot of baby clothes. I'm assuming there might be quite a bit of hand-me-downs, but it's always nice to go and get something new for a new child, so I could see that side too. I just wonder how much of this is production and them needing to do something that production could film.
The first 5, 6, 7 years were a huge learning curve. We're still learning.
They're doing a good job of portraying themselves as a united front, but if you can kind of catch Janelle's face when Mary's talking, it doesn't look like she's fully in agreement with what she's saying. I slowed it down so you could see it kind of looks like she's clenching her teeth a little bit and just like,
They're little ballerina slippers. My 6th baby. We know she's a girl, and her name is going to be Truly. Truly's not the only new thing in our family. Right now, Cody's courting Robin. Our family's getting to know her family. Possibility of another sister wife. Pretty exciting time for us.
I know that they've all signed up to become sister wives and be sister wives, but I think it's especially cruel to have to go through this when you're pregnant. This just seems par for the course. I know Janelle was pregnant when Cody courted Christine.
Mary's always been open to more wives. There were times when she would talk to me about it. Cody should probably get married again. And I'm like, no, he's not spending enough time with me. Are you kidding me? I don't see him having another wife. You're insane.
It's interesting that Christina's saying like, no, this is not good. I don't want this. I'm not getting enough of my husband. And they're all just kind of laughing about it. Like, that's so silly of you, Christine, to think that you get extra time with your husband or you get to feel fulfilled in your marriage. We're a polygamist and you get him 1/3 of the time and soon you'll be getting him 1/4 of the time.
Cody and I were out one night and we went over to a friend's house, and Robin happens to be this friend's cousin. Robin and I kind of clicked that night.
At this point, I think you guys know my personality enough to know I always want to know the backstory. I always want to know the undercurrent. And so I purchased the book, and I'm going to read you a section where Mary talks about this time in their life. Although the Brown family was functioning, my relationship with Cody was floundering. After nearly 20 years of marriage, issues that we had left to simmer had begun to boil over. Around the time that Cody and I were suffering through this low point in our marriage, we decided to take a drive together. It was a particularly good day for us as we'd been working on improving our relationship and the communication between us. We were passing by our friend Reba's house, and we stopped to say hello. A young woman, Reba's cousin, was outside loading her children to a van in order to drive back home to southern Utah. We started chatting. I felt an immediate connection to her. After we drove away, I was instantly struck by one of my quote-unquote popcorn thoughts. This woman is someone who will be in our lives. Of course, that woman was Robin. I shared my thoughts with Cody that night, which was the first step on the path of welcoming her into our family. Until that time, I wasn't sure if Cody would ever marry again. If he did, I would never have imagined my being so closely involved from the start. We soon discovered that Robin was divorced, but believed in the principle of plural marriage. Cody and I began to talk about her between ourselves. It didn't seem necessary to bring up the subject of Robin to the rest of the family until it was more apparent that there might be a potential for courtship. So she became a little connection that Cody and I shared, a sweet, special bond in a time of turmoil between us. Since things were rocky between Cody and me, it was a little unusual to consider bringing in a new wife into the picture, especially given that I never, ever thought that Robin would solve my problems with Cody. I just felt drawn to her in a way that satisfied me. I wanted her as a friend, and I had a clear vision of her in our lives. Janelle and Christine had not yet met her, so this little relationship between Cody, Robin, and me felt special. So clearly, Mary was using Robin as a way of getting back into Cody's good graces. She says that's not what she was doing. That is definitely what she was doing, though. That's my opinion. Anyway, I should say that. This is my opinion. My opinion is wrong. My opinion is flawed. I'm just like every other human on the planet. I don't know. These are all theories and guesses. Okay. So, but I think that Mary was using this as a way of getting Cody back. And it just makes me really sad that a woman felt that she had to do that to get her husband to re-engage with her in a positive way in the relationship. The other thing that I want to touch on is how Christine and Janelle probably felt when they found out that they were hiding this fun little secret from them. I would be livid. It's essentially like you're cheating because there's all this stuff going on and you're not admitting it. That doesn't... And the fact that Mary is willing to throw her other sister wives under the bus to try to get favor for herself and for her to see it as a positive thing that they have this secret feels really disloyal. I think though when we're in desperate situations, sometimes we do things because we're so desperate for love that we're not thinking critically about how we behave and how that impacts everybody else around us. Not to let Mary completely off the hook, but to also kind of give the other vantage point of her blindness to her own motivations and behavior.
I had to go ask her to dance. And so he did, and that was all she wrote.
Draw your picture.
So her name is Robin. She's 30, and she grew up in the polygamous lifestyle.
I don't have any sources for this, so take this with a grain of salt. But what I remember about Robin growing up in polygamy was that her mom ended up getting a divorce from her dad. She remarried someone who practiced polygamy. Her mom was the second wife to him, and they lived in separate states from the original wife. So it's a very different setup than living in the same house as the Browns were, or living in the same city as the Browns tried to do in the future. And I think that really matters because she's not seeing the day-to-day give and take of what happens in polygamy as a child. She didn't grow up with that, as far as I know. If you guys have other information, please let me know. I appreciate it. And I always love sources. If you have any information, any sources you think I should see, I would love it if you would email those to me. It's easier for me to see them versus the comments, even though I do read all the comments.
Single, divorced, mother of 3, Dayton, who's 9, Aurora, she's 7 years old, Brianna, 5 years old. I've been spending the last few years trying to create a safe environment for them. I'm working toward them and care them.
And she is done working and tired of not having a nanny, so get ready for that.
I'm packing.
What?
I'm going to go see Robin. Are you going to help me? Or are you just going to stay there and breed princess?
Way to shame your daughter into helping you pack to go see your girlfriend.
Robin and I have been courting for a couple of months. Challenging because she's so far away.
Oh, little Gabe, trying so hard to help his dad pack. I could be overstating here, but I think this summarizes Cody and how he relates to people around him. I think he thinks everybody is there to help him and assist him. Like, you need to pack, so pack your stuff. No, he enlists the help of the kids, and maybe they wanted to help, or maybe they had been taught since childhood that they're supposed to tend to what their dad's needs are rather than the parent attending to their needs, which I think is also very typical for narcissists. The training that kids receive is that you are caretaking for the narcissist. You're giving them what they want, rather than you're a child and you have needs that need to be met. That's like secondary.
It's been a long time since I've courted. Go put those in. All right.
I'd leave the Jesus sandals behind, personally.
This is really the first courtship that we've had. Robin was really special. Kind of seems like it might click. We'll see how it goes. I gotta say goodbye to everybody. Right now I'm headed to see Robin for a weekend visit. She lives about 5 hours away. Anytime you're leaving, it kind of upsets everybody. Okay, you gonna be all right?
Yeah, I always am.
It's only a couple days. So I'm leaving Mary, I'm leaving Christine, and I'm leaving Janelle to go down and see Robin.
Mary looks very heartbroken here, and in the book, she talks about Cody leaving and how that felt for her. At first, the three of us had a wonderful friendship, but when the time came for Robin to start exploring her relationship with Cody on a deeper and more personal level, things became difficult for me. I had been instrumental in bringing Robin and Cody together, and now I wasn't needed anymore. Since Robin lived so far away, Cody had to spend much more time away from the house in order to court her. At first, he'd take a wife and a couple of kids with him on these trips. as the whole family would need to get to know Robin and her children. Eventually, it was better for him to not include the wives, as he and Robin deserved and needed time alone to build their own relationship. Robin's presence transformed from something that filled me with joy to something that made me extremely lonely, as well as feeling the love that Cody and I shared was once again being threatened. Cody and Robin started courting at the absolute low point of my marriage. Because I felt insignificant and insecure in my relationship with Cody, I struggled with all the time that he needed to spend with Robin and our kids in southern Utah. Again, I turned inward and began to wonder what benefit I was to this family. Cody and I were hanging on by a thread, and he was off courting somebody else. Even though courting Robin had been partially my idea, the reality of the situation was very difficult for me.
I love you. See you. You all right?
Yeah, she lives far, 5 hours away. I was told, there was a couple of times where I'm like, you really can't go. You can't leave me. Here you are replacing your family with Robin and her kids. And it was hard. And at the same point, I realized that it needed to happen, but it didn't necessarily make it easier.
But did it have to happen? Isn't there a way of compromising this situation? The fact that Cody has to leave and go see Robin doesn't make sense to me. If her goal is to join this family, she's joining a system that's already established. Shouldn't she be the one traveling to them? But this kind of shows you how things began. She was already getting different treatment from the get-go. He's leaving his family behind. He has 12 children, 3 wives, and he's like, see ya, I'm gonna go hang out with my girlfriend. If she really wanted to come into the family, she should have been traveling to Utah. I know the argument's gonna be that it was chivalry. A man should go to the woman and stay with her, whatever. I think that's a very weak excuse to abandon the rest of your family, as Christine says, and go hang out with her. And I'm sure that Christine said, you can't go, I don't want you to leave. And he went anyway. He didn't care. And he goes on with this. He talks about how they're just going to endure pain and this is just part of it. And it just sucks for them, but they're going to have to, pray about it and overcome it. It seems like such unnecessary suffering. And when the response to suffering is like, oh, well, you just need to get right spiritually, it leans for me in this moment as a little bit abusive. It's kind of blaming people for having a problem with something that most people are going to have problems with. It's normal to feel jealousy, especially if your husband is dating somebody else.
Initially, everybody struggles because they're afraid.
I guess they could be afraid that he's going to toss them aside, but I think that's a legitimate concern, especially after we've seen how everything played out. And I think this brings up a good opportunity to talk about jealousy through the lens of evolutionary psychology. So evolutionary psychology is the study of behavior, thought, and feeling as viewed through the lens of evolutionary biology. Evolutionary psychologists presume all human behaviors reflect the influence of physical and psychological predispositions that helped human ancestors survive and reproduce. And so according to an evolutionary psychologist, their theory about, and again, I'm not saying this is my theory, I'm saying this is evolutionary psychologist's theory that I find fascinating, and so I want to talk about it, that jealousy has an adaptive logic, and it's different from men and women. According to evolutionary psychologists, the primary issue for women is paternal care. Throughout most of our evolution, sex usually led to children, and children were a huge amount of work. Women in a robust relationship, meaning they have a lot of resources coming to them and are tended to, typically had more surviving offspring than women without one. As such, any trait that decreased the chances that a woman's partner would get involved with somebody else was likely to be selected. Jealousy again fits the bill. I find evolutionary psychology to be a very fascinating subset of psychology. I've left links to the articles that I've cited in this video in the description box below, so you can go and read the articles for yourself if they interest you. So I'm going to get off on this little side tangent here and head back to the show.
I was kidding.
I think Isabel is actually pretty upset here, but she knows she can't convince her dad to stay, so she's just going to act like she was just joking around. But I suspect that she's very hurt, and it would be really hard to have to share your dad with, 11 other siblings, and now with a girlfriend and her 3 kids.
All things are unbalanced because of the traveling. But I think that will balance out. Cody's always been very careful with his time. He's careful to make sure that we all have our needs met.
I think this is Janelle trying to manifest Cody into being a better husband. I think this is a common strategy of them. Like, you know better, you know how to do this. We picked you and we count on you and we know you can make this fair and make this right. I think that's the only way that women could kind of put pressure on their husbands in this culture, because it didn't seem demanding. It was like a way of praising your husband and then also asking them to step it up.
See you, kids! Usually I will take some of the kids down to see Robin with me, getting her children and my children acclimatized to each other. And this time I'm taking Madison and Aspen.
Again, Robin should be going to where they're living and getting around their family. The fact that he's already going to see her and not being around the larger family doesn't make sense. He's like, yeah, I'm going to bring my kids so that they can all get to know one another. I wonder, could there be another reason why he's bringing his kids along on this trip?
They're actually going to babysit a little. Robin and I want to go out.
Oh yeah, free childcare. But don't worry, he also says that
it's also a good time for my teenage girls to get to know Robin.
Sure it is. What I do find remarkable is how from the get-go, there were different rules for Robin. It was, them going to see her, him having children to use as childcare for her children. It was an automatic link into resources for her. And Robin's not going, as far as we can see, Robin's not going to Utah and helping them. It's very much one-directional help.
In my lifestyle, wives are very comfortable with me having another wife. They're not comfortable with a girlfriend.
So again, you know that. So there are there courses of action that you can take to help mitigate how hard this is for them? And it doesn't seem like he's willing to do that. One of the things that they're all mentioning is him traveling and how hard that's been on everybody, and yet he is not willing to compromise on that.
Mary introduces Robin and I, and Mary and her literally develop a bond. There was a spiritual drive that said to her, this is something that's going to be part of your life.
There was definitely a connection with me and Robin. I just knew that she was a person that I could be friends with. And even more than that, have her in my family.
I've seen comments that people feel that Mary was in love with Robin in a romantic way. And I can understand that after reading what Mary wrote in the book about Robin and some of the behaviors that we see on the show. I don't think that she has romantic interest in Robin. I think she has romantic interest in Cody and is using Robin as a vehicle to get that relationship repaired. And so she's not just seeing another human being when she's seeing Robin, she is seeing someone that can save her marriage. And so I think that's the explanation for the intense behavior Mary has toward Robin.
Here is this girl who's choosing to come into a family with 16 people, 3 wives.
No, I just said no. I meant no. I'm gonna count to 3 and I better see kids in this van. 1, 2, 3. Take your privileges away, Brianna. Monster children. Well, the cool thing about it is you got people all over you mothering your kids. And Cody too, now, that's one of the cool things about it.
Robin acts as if the other wives don't already have more children than she has, with the exception of Mary. So I don't really understand how you say to yourself, I'm gonna move into this situation and I have less kids than 2 of the wives and they're gonna help me. Make that make sense to me. Like, everybody's just kind of drowning in childcare and cleaning the house and making food for everybody and paying for everything. So the idea that you're going to move in and somehow people are going to help you, it just doesn't wash. What's fascinating, though, is that Robin was able to accomplish this. Robin was able to get nannies to get help for her children, something the other wives never had. Robin is also able to enjoy the financial benefits of the family in a way that none of the other wives ever had, even though they were the ones contributing to the big pot. I don't fully know Robin. She is very good at presenting one sliver of her personality to the cameras, but I'm really interested in watching this series again throughout and seeing what I can suss out. I don't think she revealed herself except for the last season, season 17. We got to see what I believe was a much more true representation of who she really is. So we'll see what happens throughout these recaps.
And the more the merrier, really.
That didn't bear out to be true, did it?
We are rearranging furniture. Truly has to go in my room because we no other place to put her.
We've been together a long
15, 16 years.
Forever!
So we get along well now.
We've worked through our issues.
Constant thing. It's like any other friendship that you have.
It's the ebb and flow of the relationship.
Yeah.
and we learned each other's quirk.
With Robin coming along,
It just changes everything.
It just changes everything.
It shakes everything up.
a new adjustment.
Yeah.
This isn't all rainbows and flowers when they're going through the process of seeing me fall in love with somebody else.
I don't want to hurt anybody, and I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. A little bit difficult for me.
This could be the first indication of her putting herself in as a victim.
You've got Robin going, I'm not going to hurt him. And I'm like, I'm sorry. There's no way around that.
But the thing is, there are ways to manage how you're making other people feel. And I think the best way to not put your wives in harm's way is to not live this kind of lifestyle. But if you're going to choose this lifestyle, you can do things like not traveling to your girlfriend and instead having her come to you. And we'll see in the next few episodes the diversion between what Robin is saying, how she wants to be and how she doesn't want to hurt anybody, and then her behavior. Because I think pretty early on, including him traveling to her, we're seeing her state things, but her behavior doesn't reflect those same values. I think that's the only way we're going to really be able to suss out Robin.
I mean, Robin is really pretty. I might feel like that I would be placed based on the companion side of it.
For me, the jealousy, I've never, same with you.
Glad he's getting a trophy wife. He's a great guy. He deserves a cute girl.
I'm cute.
I'm
saying.
This makes me cringe a little bit because Christine is putting her sister wives down by saying that Robin is the trophy wife, thereby basically saying that the other wives are not. Of course, we know what Robin thought of all these women when she, in the last season, 17, said something to the effect of she knew Cody would be a good spouse because she saw him being in love with all these women with stretch marks, essentially talking about their physical appearance not being ideal, and he still managed to love them.
I've got a woman here who wants to be loved by me, courted by me, to come into the family. At the same time, if I'm fearing how much it's going to hurt my wives, it'll challenge that pursuit.
Here is Cody openly saying, if he acknowledges how badly this is going to hurt his wife, it's going to challenge his pursuit of Robin. It's very subtle, it's very quick, and it's not highlighted. But he's essentially saying out loud, he has to not think about his wives in order to go through with this.
So it's a fine balance.
You find that balance between finding your own happiness, and then also being sensitive to what they're going through.
You know, this is something that we did choose, but because of emotions and outside influences and culture, sometimes we struggle with it.
This is the first time in this first season that I've ever seen Cody kind of do what he did a lot of in the last season, which is absolve himself of any sort of responsibility. So what he said, to restate, is that it's the culture and emotions that create problems for this lifestyle rather than his behavior and how the actions that he chose are going to have ramifications. For example, him going and dating Robin behind the other wives' back without them having any information that that's happening creates a situation where people are feeling unstable, are feeling slighted, are feeling like you're being dishonest with them, and that breeds mistrust. Christine does a good job of explaining how that made her feel.
I really felt out of the loop, the whole thing. I hadn't met Robin at all for 3-4 weeks after Mary and Cody did. The whole Robin coming along was making me mad because I hadn't met her. And here Cody's going on and on and on about her. He gets a testimony that, you know, she is definitely someone who wants in the family. Mary, same thing, hook, line, and sinker, she's done. I'm panicking because I haven't met her, don't know what she's like, and I thought it was horrible. I totally felt I lost my best friend.
So if you know this is going to be a hard situation for your wives and you have that going in, why on earth would you create a situation, a dynamic like this? This is probably one of the most hurtful ways you can go about doing this. And his response to Christine as she's expressing this is like, he just seems really checked out. Is he wondering what he's going to eat for lunch? Like, he's just so checked out from what she's saying. One of the things that I want to mention about watching this show the first time was I was surprised at how communicative Christine was about her needs and how things were making her feel. And it didn't seem like she was holding back a lot. She was very vocal, which surprised me. So I was expecting the wives to be very numbed down with their preferences, with their voice. I assume that because of the culture, they were taught to kind of stifle their emotions and keep things to themselves. And so when I saw this originally, I was very impressed with the fact that they were talking about this, or at least Christine was, in such an open fashion. But what I missed back then, and I recognize now, is that, yeah, she's talking about her feelings, but her feelings are still not being addressed. They're minimized. Cody is blaming it on the culture and on emotions. And that isn't something I picked up on the first time. And I think that might be because I was more focused on what I thought the behavior would be of polygamous wives, rather than a normal response a husband would have when his wife is telling him she has a need, or she's struggling with something. And it's not to sit there and think about what you're going to eat for lunch.
Christine's shoes. I know it would be hard. They love Cody. For them to see him maybe falling in love with someone else, but I mean, it would be hard. My heart swells with love for him, but they're doing it because they want me to be happy. So it's like, how do you hurt a friend? You know, how do you hurt someone that wants so much for you, kind of a thing.
She seems to acknowledge that would be challenging, but it doesn't seem like she really gets it. Like on an emotional level, she just seems like she's talking. And all I can think when I'm watching this is, oh my gosh, I hope they already filmed the next season and Cody trying to date. There's a rumor that there was somebody that they were dating from Mexico that totally bailed on Cody. And I have to say, I would just love to see Robin have to go through this process and how hard it would be for her. And I know that's kind of mean-spirited. It is. I try to not be mean-spirited. But I think Robin challenges me. There's something about her that really rubs me the wrong way. And I think it's probably just from watching her throughout the seasons and how manipulative she's been and how hurtful she's been, all the while crying and pretending she's the victim.
When Robin and I were new in the relationship, my heart, I was going through some real difficult times. In Christine's room, sobbing.
I remember you.
I was sobbing. I didn't know what was wrong. I'm looking at her. I don't know what's wrong. My heart is breaking in a million pieces. Christine's like, well, you're lovesick, and the only cure is a marriage, you know?
Okay, so your husband is going to visit his girlfriend every weekend. You get him one night out of the week, maybe two if you get lucky that week. And he's in your room. You finally have one-on-one time. And he's crying because he misses his girlfriend. He is so insensitive.
Awesome about this lifestyle. It rubs off all of your rough spots. It makes you become a better person. Cody is a better person now than when Mary first married him.
What's interesting now is we can look at season 17 and it doesn't look like Cody is a better person as a byproduct of this lifestyle. I also think it's very problematic to think any lifestyle is going to reveal the best version of yourself. I think it's how you respond to challenges in life that affects how it ages you and how it affects your paradigm. Cody and Robin, and somewhat Mary, I would say all have a little bit more of like a victim mentality where things happen to them. They somehow don't have responsibility for their actions and how that creates ramifications for them. And they all, out of the whole family, are the most miserable. So if anything, I think having a victim mindset, as we've seen it play out, it's a cautionary tale. It's not an identity that creates strength in the individual. It doesn't create this opportunity that you can grow, that you can change, because you're not responsible for anything, right? So you're not also in control of anything. This is all a distortion. We all have the same amounts of control as anybody else. But creating a situation where you're the victim all the time does not bear out well for you over time.
Sometimes when a wife comes into a family, she only wants the man. Robin sees that Cody is like he is because of his family.
They made him a good man. You guys awesome. Thank you so much.
God, she's so annoying. Does she mean any of this? I don't know, but she definitely is acting like she won the lottery, which is pretty accurate because she essentially won the lottery. I mean, she does have Cody all to herself now, and that's a horrible thing to have happen to anybody. But she's living in a McMansion. She had nannies the whole time. She cracked open that nest egg and has way more money than any of the wives ever did. And her heir is just so innocent and pure, and I'm sure Cody bought it hook, line, and sinker. I want to be clear here, though. Cody is not absolved from how he treated his wives. Even if he was being manipulated, he still had a choice in how he treated other people, and you should never ever let anyone come in between you and your wives that you've already established, or you and your kids. He is completely responsible for how he shows up or fails to show up for his children and for his wives, and that is not on Robin, no matter what she does. He should never ever give away his power to her to affect his relationships in that way.
Cody's on his way. So excited. Cody's my soulmate.
What should we do? Because the girls teasing me about you.
I bet the girls are really happy that they came because it looks like they're getting a lot of quality time with Robin. Or maybe they're actually just getting ignored by Robin.
My girl's going to watch you guys.
Will you be good for these guys?
It doesn't look like Brianna really wants to hug him.
Be embraced by Cody.
Yes, she doesn't really seem to notice that she doesn't want to be embraced by Cody.
I have a list of potential mate. Cody is him.
I want to see this list. Did it have 3 wives and 12, soon to be 13 children on it? I call BS, Robin. Although I will say it is very clear that they definitely are falling in love and there is some infatuation there.
It's been 16 years since I've courted anyone. Christine was the last. It's a completely different experience altogether.
Why? Because you actually like Robin, or because she won't eat chili cheese fries in front of you? It just feels a little shady. Like, I could imagine Christine watching this, it feeling like a punch to the gut for her.
Hot chocolate.
That sounds fun.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Marshmallows in it?
Okay, I'm going to be extra nitpicky here and just know that, I don't know, I must be grumpy. But, oh my gosh, I remember watching this and just being like, it's so funny that he's trying to like portray this like very like innocent man, and it's exciting and fun for Robin to get hot chocolate with marshmallows. Oh my. It's just, it feels like a performance of purity and of innocence. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, that would be a hard pass for me. I'd be like, you're trying to pretend like you're like this pure person. Meanwhile, you've got 3 wives at home and you're trying to court another one. I kind of wonder if like this over display of innocence is a way to kind of counteract the perception of people that are in polygamous relationships.
I've never really held hands with a woman that wasn't my wife in 16 years.
Wow, you're so chaste and so pure. He says it as if we should all be surprised that he hasn't been out holding random women's hands that aren't his wives. Like, what? Yeah, you shouldn't be holding hands with other people. He goes into this a little bit in their book, too, about how he used to be he used to hold hands and kiss people that he wasn't serious about. And so when he met Mary, he was very careful to be very chaste. And I guess he's continuing along that because apparently he falls really hard, really quickly, everybody. And then he realizes later on that he just doesn't like those people anymore. So he's trying to slow his dating situation down.
I thought I'd get you a ring.
Yeah, you want to do that?
Oh, you won't like this at all. It's a ring.
It's just pick. Seriously? This is awesome.
Again, this just feels like something you do when you're a teenager. This doesn't feel like something you would do if you're in your 40s and 30s. I'm not saying it doesn't have romantic connotations. It could, but it feels so performative that it just makes me feel like they're trying to manipulate us. I really believe that they're in love and they really care about each other. But I think this whole string thing is like this way of kind of showing the audience that Robin really isn't in this for money. See, she's happy with a string that my daughter made for her, a string ring. And doesn't that show how pious she is, warm-hearted? It just feels so manipulative.
Nobody in the family would ever call me romantic, I don't think. Kind of got overcome by this romantic bug. No self-respecting man would admit this stuff. I kind of melted. I don't know what happened to me. It's still happening.
Oh my God, get a room. Ugh. I feel like I need to go take a shower. I mean, it's true that when you're falling in love, it's super embarrassing. It's something should probably never ever be filmed because this is so cringy. But also, I want to say, like, what they were talking about earlier was like, this is hard for the wives, and we have to balance getting to know Cody and being sensitive to the wives. And he's like, I have to be careful about how I'm going about things, and it's a fine line. I think everything that he's saying on this date with Robin to a camera, his wives are going to see. And how heartbreaking that's going to be. It's essentially like they're on the date with them, and he's displaying behaviors that he doesn't display with them. He's already showing his preferential treatment to her. Ugh, gosh, I'm so glad they're all gone now. You won, Robin. You quote unquote won.
I've been courting Robin for 4 months. By polygamous standards, that's actually a long time. Now we want to kind of move it forward and get the families merged as soon as we can.
Do you remember when McKelty was wanting to get married to Tony and all Cody could talk about was that they were rushing into it so that they could be intimate? I wonder, was he speaking from experience? Alrighty, that wraps up episode 2 from season 1. I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying actually going back. I was really dreading this, but I'm actually really enjoying it, and I feel like it gives me an opportunity to talk about things that I find interesting, pulling in other resources like the book and Evolutionary Psychology. So I hope you enjoy it too. Have a terrific week, and I will see you next time.